Welcome to Run It Back Philly. DJ Eastwood doesn't need your mother***ing intro.
Oh my God. What an absolutely pathetic, embarrassing loss for the Philadelphia 76ers. Absolutely just not even close to acceptable. Just completely ridiculous, to be quite honest. Like, listen, I know it's getting towards the end of the season. I know you guys have your conspiracy theories. Oh, we're trying to avoid the Nets. We're trying to avoid this. We're trying to avoid that. That, dude. What are you guys talking about? If you don't think you can beat the Nets, you don't think you can beat the Bucks, you don't think you can beat the Miami Heat in a 7-game series, you're not avoiding them for 2 rounds. Let's lose on purpose so we can avoid them for 2 rounds just to get smoked. Knock it off. The Philadelphia 76ers tried to win this game. Stop with the nonsense. They lost 102-94 to the Detroit Pistons. The 21-56 Detroit Pistons. You know what my main takeaway from this game is? It is absolutely hilarious to watch Doc Rivers get beat by a bunch of players that he would never glance at. These players would never even sniff the floor on a Doc Rivers-led basketball team. And they were out there as his opponent, spanking his team full of 79-year-old scrubs. That's a little bit of an exaggeration. But my point is, 90% of the players on that Detroit Pistons team would never even sniff the floor under Doc Rivers, and they just beat his team fair, square, straight up. The Sixers lose to the Detroit Pistons 102-94. The first thing I want to say is Doc Rivers is a troll, and Doc Rivers is a troll because of this. Okay, so we say before the game starts, you know, especially after the last game, after the Suns game, after what the hell was the last game that we just played against a good team, the Bucks game, where Doc, went with 39-year-old Paul Millsap for 8 straight minutes and got annihilated by Giannis, 17 straight points, refused to make any. We said there's no reason that towards the end of the season, Aaron Cabbage, my man, thank you for the support. Of course, there's no reason that Doc Rivers won't go younger against the Detroit Pistons. There's 7 games left in the season. People all over Facebook, Twitter, everywhere are predicting we go 7-0. We have a chance to go. We can't beat any good teams, but we have a chance to go 7-0 against the bad ones to really be in the running for what? Be in the running for what? This team once again got beat by athletes, young athletes, young NBA players that are quick, decisive, strong, and can jump. Now I'm freaking tired of watching this nonsense. I'm literally watching a 40 and over league versus a bunch of 18-year-olds get smacked. That's what this is. And Doc Rivers, not only did he decide, I'm not saying Paul Reed would have done anything differently in this game. I'm not saying Charles Bassey would have done anything differently in this game. Not saying that. I'm saying there was no reason. There wasn't a reason in the Suns game. There wasn't a reason in the Bucks game. But there was definitely no reason in this game for Doc Rivers to not at least begin to experiment with what he has on the bench. And he once again said, no, I'm doing it my way. I'm Doc Rivers. I'm one of the greatest coaches of all time. I'm synonymous with Greg Popovich. Nobody can tell me what to do. I'm doing it my way. And did nothing differently once again. But Doc Rivers is a troll because with 20 seconds left in the basketball game, the game is over. He actually looked at the bench and put Paul Reed in the game. Are you kidding me, Doc Rivers? Are you serious? How just insane is that? How just disrespectful, demeaning, just an absolute pathetic. What do you do? You actually blew the game to the Detroit Pistons and looked at the bench and said, hey, Paul, get in the game for the final 20 seconds, you piece of shit. Are you serious, Doc? That's a troll job. That's exactly what that is. Look, man, James Harden was horrendous in this game. Horrendous, especially down the stretch. Now, look, man. Oh my goodness. Let me. What am I even doing here? James Harden down the stretch of this game was terrible. Look. 2 years ago, James Harden was putting up 55-point triple-doubles. 2 years ago, James Harden was putting up 60-point triple-doubles. Just 2 years ago. Just 2 years ago, James Harden was putting up 60-point triple-doubles. 2 short years later, this dude can't get a bucket against the Detroit Pistons. Are you serious? The final possessions of this basketball game, the fourth quarter of this game was so putrid. I wanted to rake my eyes out like Tobias Harris did to Keys on that one drive where he stuck all four of his fingers in his damn eye socket. That's what I wanted to do to myself watching the fourth quarter of this game. And James Harden, who's supposed to be one of the best scorers to ever play the game, couldn't put the ball in the hoop against the Detroit Pistons. I mean, this dude's driving the lane, looks like he's stuck in quicksand, looks like he's running on a wet beach in Asics, looks like he pissed off the mafia and they freaking tied cinder blocks to his feet so he would sink in the ocean. That's how heavy and slow his feet looked in this game. He's driving the lane looking like he's running through mud, putting up weak layup attempts, hardly getting off the ground, getting absolutely smacked by a bunch of 18-year-olds. Now, what are we doing here? And how do we really expect this team to beat any team with athleticism? How do we expect it? Somebody tell me. How do we expect it? Cade Cunningham was great in this game. We what did he have, 27? We couldn't slow him down. But worst of all, a bunch of players that like I said, Doc Rivers would never give the time of day. We're just making big shots, fast break finishes, turnovers in crunch time. I mean, just absolutely pathetic. The Detroit Pistons went on a 23-4 run in the fourth quarter of this game. The Detroit Pistons went on a 23-4 run in the fourth quarter of this game. Aaron Cabbage, MVP, running back MVP. Hey, man, I'm going out tonight, so I won't be here for the whole show. All I want to say is if we had a decent coach, not a good coach, we would be the 1 seed by a huge margin. We have the talent. I think Doc Rivers is a troll, and I think he did what he did in this game as far as, not playing Paul Reed and Bassey and those guys again, but I don't think that would have made much of a difference in this game, to be quite honest with you. The game came down to the performance of our stars in the fourth quarter, and these dudes folded like lawn chairs, especially James Harden. Tobias Harris in the fourth. Tyrese Maxey in the fourth, and Tyrese is 21 years old. I'm not going to rip him to shreds. Joel Embiid, turnover after turnover after turnover in crunch time. Putting him in just terrible positions, trying to ISO guys, dribbling straight into double teams. I mean, wow. Just wow. And when you get to the playoffs and teams are really playing with strategy defensively, I have a fear it's about to look like this. And listen, you can try to avoid the Brooklyn Nets all you want. The Cleveland Cavaliers will do to you what the Detroit Pistons just did. The Toronto Raptors will do to you what the Detroit Pistons just did. The Celtics, the Heat. This team is easily the most unathletic team in the Eastern Conference by a long shot, and that's just what's going to happen in the playoffs. That's where I'm at with it. Thank you to Cade Cunningham for $1.99 donation. Says, love the channel, rookie of the year. Hey, thanks for loving the channel, man. I shouldn't be this mad at a game toward the end of the season, but this is just a pathetic loss. Asia Roberson, member of the channel for 13 months. Thank you so much. Hey, DJ, Doc left the bench out again. Not really. I did notice that. I mean, if you guys think that he did, go ahead and let me know. But I noticed that Joel Embiid was in the game the end of the third quarter. So he didn't go Paul Millsap or DeAndre Jordan the end of the third, at least. I was shocked that DeAndre Jordan was the first player in the game. Off the bench was the first backup big. I thought in this game, he's gonna after last game, especially what he said in a post-game press conference, he's gonna at least throw Paul Reed out there. He's gonna at least throw Charles Bassey out there, and he went with DeAndre Jordan again. Brian Santiago, thank you for the support. Says we lack hustle. That's why we lose down the stretch. We lack a lot. When you're losing to a team like the Pistons with we have a full roster and we're losing to the Pistons. I mean, what are we really doing out here? The game started. The first thing I noticed was, listen, and I could be totally overreacting. This could very well be, hey, it's the end of the season. The seeding is what it is. Don't go out there and kill yourself. And the main reason I say that is because Joel Embiid, for basically this entire game, and he put up numbers, but for basically this entire game, Joel Embiid was fading away against smaller players, and that's where I start to see that he's kind of playing YMCA pickup ball. You know what I mean? I'm not making an excuse. There's no excuse to losing to this Detroit Pistons team. But from the jump, Joel Embiid having smaller players on him shooting fadeaway jumpers. I'm like, what are we really doing here, Joe? Dribble through this guy. Get to the rim. What are we doing? I don't get it. You get a fast break from Matisse Thybulle in the first quarter. Nobody in front of him. Dude could jump from the foul line if he knew how athletic he was. Misses an open layup on a fast break. The guy can't play ball. When are we going to accept that? Matisse Thybulle is not an NBA starter. He can't play. When are we going to accept that? The second quarter, Harden had a little bit of something going on. He was getting the foul calls. He was taking the young guys to the rack. He was finishing in traffic, finishing and ones. Embiid was still fading away in the second quarter. We had 0 bench points at halftime. 0 bench points. Doc Rivers randomly decides to throw Furkan Korkmaz in the game. I don't know what made him do that, but, we didn't get anything out of him anyway. I feel like it's definitely the second game in a row where Harden had something going on in the first 3 quarters and then just looked totally gassed in the fourth. And Mina, where are you at? Mina, $2 super chat says, I think Harden starves himself. No energy. He looks thin. I don't know what it is. He didn't play a lot in Brooklyn this year, the hamstring injury. Then we trade for him. He tries to come back like he's all good, but it clearly looks like he's lacking a step, man, especially the fourth quarter of these games. He's not. The beginning of the game, he looks somewhat like a decent version of James Harden, but the fourth quarter of these games, James Harden looks absolutely done for. He looks done. He looks toasted. He looks washed. He looks like a, shout out to whoever said it to me on Twitter, he looks like a 75-year-old drunk. He's no explosiveness, not getting off the floor, throwing his arms up, looking for calls. This was an embarrassing performance by James Harden in the fourth quarter. This was absolutely embarrassing because 2 years ago, Detroit Pistons were not stopping James Harden. There's nothing they could do. This dude would have put up 25 in the fourth quarter alone, and now he looks like he can't even score on the Detroit Pistons. Passed up a wide open 3 again. So the thing about Harden is he doesn't have catch and shoot in his repertoire for some reason. The ball swings to him. He won't catch it and shoot it. He catches it, hesitates, and then so he can do like 3 or 4 quick little through the leg dribbles and then do a step back. What notes do I have in the third, man? Asia Roberson, thank you for supporting the channel. Asia, good to see you. Longtime member of the channel, Asia. Are we going to see fire Coach Chance again? Listen, I don't think I even have to do that because if this team looks like this in the playoffs, they're getting smoked the first round, and Doc Rivers is out of here. No, I don't want to. Again, I don't want to overreact. We put up a fight against the Phoenix Suns. We put up a fight against the Milwaukee Bucks and just came up short. And those losses to me were on Doc Rivers, but this loss. This was a pathetic performance by our star players in the fourth quarter. This loss was. KG, thank you for supporting the channel. 39 plus years as a Sixers fan, I have earned the right to be negative. They're not getting out of the East. Harden got the Nets laughing at us. You might be right, man. You might be right.